Good morning, Robert.
Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center in Pflugerville, Texas. I'm finding I have to be clear about that. We're finishing up today on the Lord's Prayer. We've been at it the last 3 weeks. And it's interesting. We're dealing with the last phrases, which is basically, leave us not in temptation. Now, we're going to look at Lamson's translation of the Lord's Prayer. And that reads in Matthew 6 that, and it's slightly different interpretation, because the popular is, lead us not into temptation, but the truth is, leave us not in temptation is a much better translation. And in Lamsa, it goes a little bit even further. It says, let's see here. And forgive us our offenses as we forgive our offenders, and do not let us enter into temptation. Very interesting conversation. Okay, so I want to talk about that. And what I want to do is share about today's world and spiritual path. It's kind of interesting that there's a lot of temptation in the world. Anybody agree? Now, I really want to address it. Do you understand that the advertisers' sole purpose in life is to influence you to do what they want you to do? And they are masters at it. Yes? They are.
Yes.
Words, intonations, even smells. Anybody ever walk through a mall and smell the cookies?
Yeah.
Okay, so everything is there to tempt us. So please understand that that's the way the world is set up. If you are of one political party, God bless you, the other political party is going to work on getting you involved in their thinking. As a matter of fact, we do that here, true? Mm-hmm. The whole idea is, and the cultural world is set up to get you involved in somebody else's thinking. Now, stop and think about it. Those of us that have raised children, would you agree we want our kids to grow up to be responsible citizens? Now, what is the definition of a responsible citizen? You see, it's our definition. In other words, they're going to get up, they're going to work hard, there's all these words and definitions. So everything is advertising and everything is getting us to act the way somebody else thinks we should. Hello. And that's the way it's set up. And all you have to do is turn the TV on. The newscast wants you to listen to theirs. And they're going to broadcast their stuff to entice you into their way of thinking. Again, it's, we're going into a political environment. I don't know about you, but I think the presidential politics are pretty evident right now. And all these things are occurring. The problem is what's right, what's wrong. Okay, and we are driven to be right and wrong. And God help us if we're on the wrong side of something, then we feel guilty. And that's, by the way, that's one of the motivators for you to feel guilty if you don't do it my way. Okay? So there's all these issues are involved with us, and we are in the middle of it making decisions how to act every day of our lives. And the Lord's Prayer says, leave us not in temptation. And then the next phrase is, deliver us from evil or deliver us from error. And Lamson's translation says error rather than evil. And evil, if you stop and think about it, is absence of God. In other words, we in Unity believe there is no such thing as evil. There's only the absence of God. So in looking at it rationally, if you understand, we're looking at leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. Now, how many errors are there around us? See, you can go crazy trying to be right. And what is right and what is wrong. And what is right and what is wrong is generally what other people have told us is true. So we have grown up in a conditioned world of here's the way we should act. Okay? Being male, I have that programming, a man should do this. Why in the world do we wear a tie? Anybody ever figured that one out? What's it for?
Decoration.
Yeah, it's just pretty, okay? I think. So why do we do what we do? Why do we wear pants instead of skirts? And why, it's all this stuff. And it's what we've grown up with and what we're conditioned to do. So it's a big understanding once you make that step that we are outcomes of what everybody else has told us to do. So when are we going to take charge of what we're to do? And the question then becomes, what are we to do? And the Lord's Prayer is pretty clear. It says, leave us not in temptation of the outside world, and deliver us from the error of this thinking, if I can use that interpretation. Very, very interesting conversation. Now, those of you who've been around, Madeline and I have been involved in the self-development programs for years. And self-development's a big issue, yes? Okay, used to be a motivational speaker. Yes, I stood on tables and went rah, rah, rah. It was fun, but it was kind of hollow. There wasn't enough there. There's one reason I am here, because I knew there was more to it, and I started reading and studying years ago. But in looking at that, there's basically 4 levels of things. The first level of something is a physical level. And self-development starts out on the physical level, and there are many, many programs on how to become much better at physically, okay? And lose weight. Okay, so what's a perfect body weight? Anybody want to get that one? You see, everybody has opinions, and the kingdom of heaven is within. So we all basically know that's where I'm going, is that we have a spark of energy within us that can guide us once we let go of the world's conversation. And it takes time to do that. So the first part of it is physically. And so what am I about physically? What am I to do? What kind of food am I to eat? Temptation. Anybody familiar with sugar? And chocolate. And ice cream. Okay? I mean, just to name a few. And those are things that are there as the temptation. So deliver us from error. Okay? So there's that part of it. So that first level is the physical level. Then we get involved in what's called the emotional level or the feeling level. And there's a lot of self-help issues out there feeling good. In other words, and Matt and we have been through a lot of training in how to complete our feelings. And some of you have been through Gestalt training and others, is to allow yourself to complete a feeling. If you're angry, be honest that you're angry and allow the feeling to complete itself. If you're happy, allow that to complete itself. So there's that emotional level of understanding and working with emotions and feelings. Okay, then we've got the mind level. So we're going physical into emotional feelings, which is the emotional body, and then into the mind, which is conditioning. And in there we've learned affirmations. Anybody familiar with affirmations? And there are therapists in the world that through affirmations and the words they speak can change subconscious training into more productive outcomes. They are able to do that. And the whole basis of unity is affirmative prayer, which is using affirmations to shift what we experience in our lives. It's the whole root of Catherine Ponder and other prosperity teachers. Okay? Now, that's been going on for years and years and years, and how come we still have a messed up society? Okay, because there's a 4th step. Gurdjieff calls it the 4th way, which is the spiritual way, which is giving it all up. In other words, deliver us from error. Where's error? Error is in what we have been told is true, and part of that is anybody. What is it? How many times has drinking coffee been good or bad for you?
Oh,
I mean, every week it changes. Next week there's a study that's good for you. Drink 3 cups a day. Then next week after that there's a don't drink coffee. That's just one little example. So we try to put all this into a package, and if we try to take that package from the physical world around us and what others are telling us, that's where it comes up short. So the 4th way, or the level of change, is letting it all go. In other words, Spirit, the Lord's Prayer says, deliver us from error. And the error is from where? Around us. So the kingdom of, and this is why I keep going. You notice I'm back into the Bible. Because it tells me a lot of stuff. And Jesus is very, very clear. The kingdom of heaven is within. It's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Worry not. It says the birds of the air don't worry. Why in the world do you worry? It goes on and on and on. In all those areas, it says let it go. Let go and let God. Over and over and over again. So there must be a level of understanding of what's right and what's wrong, that there is nothing that's right or wrong other than what we're told inside to do. So thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Right from the beginning, thy kingdom, the kingdom of God, which is that place within each one of us that's perfect and whole. Joe Vitale, those of you that read Joe Vitale talks about the whiteboard, or returning to the whiteboard, which is taking the subconscious mind back to zero. No programs in it. The pure program of spirit. So divinity is within each one of us, and that divinity is telling us what to do, but we let the ideas of the world override it, is what we do. I was listening to Val in her meditation, and she started out with divine order. Okay? Do you understand that there is a divine order to everything, and it's up to us to let it go and let it manifest? What I'm realizing is when I get in the way and tell God what should happen. Anybody familiar with that one? In other words, I want it this way. Okay? And then we talked about, the idea came to my mind that she was talking about letting go things. And that some of the things that happened to us look like why did that leave? And the word clutter came into my mind. Anybody familiar with clutter? Mm-hmm. And on the physical level, one of the things to do is clean up and clean out. Well, that's what we have to do in our lives, clean up and clean out. The whole basis of AA is get rid of the clutter. Clean up and clean out. Clean out what? The stuff that's not important. The stuff that's creating that which we don't want. And how do we know the stuff that we don't want? We have to turn it over, back off, and let it declutter. Thank you, Ron. Okay? Then elevate your vibration. Now, how do you elevate your vibration? Yeah. Here's the key. We stop thinking. Did you hear that? We stop thinking. Because the world wants you to think. The world wants us to figure everything out. And your mind has to go 100 miles an hour. And in that process, excuse me, that's what keeps us busy in the world. So it's literally letting go, get rid of all the stuff, the clutter, and allowing it to dissipate. Now are you ready for this? That ain't easy. And I use the word ain't on purpose, just to get through. Because that's the world wants you to care. But if you don't care, they get upset. And sometimes this letting go looks like you don't care. I want you to take that in. Okay? Because deep down within, at a spiritual level, you care more than anything. Because we want life to work effectively. And I need to go into what happened in the daily word. It's here. So here it is. Okay? Now, the daily word for today is world peace. Okay, everybody there? And it says that I am doing my part for world peace. However, you need to start with Saturday's daily word. Okay, and Saturday's daily word says, my mind is clear and my path is revealed. My mind is cleared. So the whole idea of Saturday's daily word is letting go. And it says here, each day through TV, social media, and radio, I receive a barrage of information that I have difficulty sorting out what is important and what is important. Did you hear it? And it's us sorting things out to make decisions about how I live life. But the truth is, within us is the sorter. We don't have to do it. Then it goes on and says, one way to discern the truth is to stop, turn the TV off. That's for me, by the way. Breathe and feel the presence of God. That means slow down, stop thinking, which takes you to a higher level of vibration, which brings the answers in. So as I put aside worldly things, I open myself to divine wisdom and peace. So peace doesn't come until we let go of the clutter and the confirmation of what's happening in the world and our decisions of what's right and what's wrong. Okay? And then I can get over here to world peace, where it says, over and over again, we are told that world peace begins with peace in our hearts. So the only way world peace happens is if you, us, it, they, everyone thinks peace and love. And let's stop thinking about what somebody else is doing. Would you agree sometimes we get all hung up on what somebody did or what somebody's doing? But did you hear what he said? And we make all these judgments. And it's those judgments that keep us in this endless cycle of peace, of upset. So, Valerie, thank you for your meditation. There was a lot in there, there really was. And the idea that we live in a world of love, the world of love only occurs when we express that love each and every moment of each and every day. So I want to thank you for the opportunity for me to share that love with you, because I really believe that's where we are. And it's a new world. And I've been hearing that for years, but I believe it now. Okay? Yes. Because you are making the difference. And when you touch your neighbor, when you touch your family, when you touch your people at work, whatever you do, when you bring peace to somebody else, that spreads. It does. And that's what we're about. So I love you very much. Thank you. I'm going to end it there.
Thank you.
Thank you.